We welcome back to the show with great pleasure, General Jack Keane, Fox News senior strategic analyst. General Keane, as always, sir, thank you for helping us. We appreciate it. I mean, the tough stuff is still in front of us, is it not? The MOU, and then all the verification aspects to make peace become a reality. How do you see it, sir?
No doubt about it. I totally agree with everything you just said and your introduction here, for sure. Yeah, I mean, what we do know is a deal has been tentatively signed, final signing this Friday, and I assume, as the president indicated, we'll get to see what the MOU actually says. I think all of us are tired of listening to Iranian propaganda about what's in it, what's not in it, and we'll get to see the real thing. But I think three things we do know. One is it extends the ceasefire, and that's interesting in of itself because Iran hasn't kept the ceasefire we're under right now. For the past 60 days, they have violated it consistently in the Straits of Hormuz, attacking U.S. bases in addition to that, attacking our allies and partners, and also unleashing Hezbollah to attack into northern Israel, 300 Israelis wounded and some killed, and not able to occupy their towns and villages and homes and schools in northern Israel, all under a ceasefire. So that's, we'll see if that holds, because it hasn't for the last 2 months. Number two, Straits of Hormuz. And obviously, good news here, and the market is reacting to that. Oil prices reacting to it, to be sure. Overall, people feel good about it. But, and there is always a big but here, we have to make certain that Iran is not using some subtlety, some nuanced coercion to maintain management and control of the Straits, even though they may not be charging a fee or a toll. We have to insist on their public declaration that this is not territorial waters where they and Oman have control of. This is recognized as a sea of law to be international waters, and it's hands off, Iran. You've got no claim to this whatsoever. We have to ensure that is indeed the case. And then the third thing, obviously, is our naval blockade, and I'm assuming we'll remove that incrementally. We've opened a lane, as you pointed out many times. A couple of hundred ships have been using that lane, and we'll be able to open up more. And obviously, the Iranians have to clear the mines out of theirs, and that'll take some time. But our naval blockade, I'm assuming, will come off incrementally. And then, Larry, the toughest part of the deal is in front of us, because it deals with all things nuclear, restriction on ballistic missiles, lethality, the number, the range of those missiles, and support for proxies. Those are all big-ticket items that have to be negotiated. And believe me, what you're saying, trust and verify, anybody that thinks is buying into the Iranian propaganda that somehow they are going to be a responsible country joining the international community because we're going to help them recover what they have lost, and they're going to act responsibly as a result of that. That makes no sense. Their 47-year history doesn't support that. I think where the Iranians are, and the administration is clear-eyed about this, and so is the president, where the Iranians are, they obviously want to survive. That's going to happen. They want to recover and rebuild, and some of that's going to happen. But we're going to meet it to them, sanction relief, and certainly there should not be any windfall of money like the Obama administration did. I don't see the Trump administration doing anything like that whatsoever. And then the third thing we have to recognize, and you emphasized it so much in the introduction, you can't trust them. Why? Because what they're going to want to do is actually go back to all of their strategic objectives. They're going to want to reverse what they sign. That's who they are, and we have to accept that. So therefore, there has to be enforcement and compliance. And that can be there in terms of money, but also, listen, people are forgetting what happened last week. Last week, the Iranians were not moving towards this MOU fast enough. They were tapping us, as the president likes to say. And what did he do? He conducted 2 strikes against Iran, multiple strikes, 2 nights' worth of strikes. He was about to do a third when the Iranians said, okay, we're ready to do this. That is still available to him and I know for a fact he is prepared to use it. And if anybody doubts it, or the Iranians doubt that, how can you dismiss the evidence we had of what he just did last week? So yes, we have to have the leverage to do it. We've got finance as leverage, initially the blockade, incrementally removing it, and we've got military action as additional leverage over the Iranians. And for certain, we have to put in the compliance enforcement to ensure that they are doing what they say they're going to do. Because what they say and what they do have been for 47 years, two different things.
Absolutely. They have. Listen, there is no trust of Iranians, and therefore verification is so important. You know, General, I don't want to see our military turned off, and I don't want to see our financial sanctions turned off either. I want both to stay where they are as long as they can and be at the ready, so that if the Iranian mischief occurs, and they have a whole history of it, as you pointed out, we will be able to go right after them. I mean, that's the deal, you know? I mean, coercive diplomacy, diplomacy through bombing, whatever you want to call it, it's been working, at least to a large extent. Nobody's ever done what Mr. Trump has done before. But I don't want to see it turned off. I say keep the money sanctions, keep them on as long as we can. You know what? Months. You always say, until they change their behavior. Well, you don't change your behavior in a week. You don't even change your behavior in 60 days. That test, that metric of performance has to go on for quite some time. And I hope the military stays right where it is, too, General Keane.
Yeah, there's no plan for the military to move out of that area, for sure. I mean, the Iranians want it, that's for sure, but that's not going to happen. Certainly, we understand that is a major, major leverage that we have going forward. And I totally agree with you on the finance and the money thing. And listen, we prefer the other alternative, because this one gives Iran a lifeline to sustain the regime, and that we find distasteful. That's a frank, and we're just being frank. But the truth is, if we can get them to change their behavior and hold their feet to the fire and verify, that is a positive step. Always knowing full well they will lie, they will cheat, they will deceive. And that's why we have to be all over them in terms of what are they really doing as opposed to what are they really saying. And we have to understand, because even the nuclear program itself, remember, the secret sites that were deeply buried underneath the ground, how did we discover those? Informants gave them to us. That's how we got them. They were doing it deceptively. And remember, under the old system, when the IAEA came in, they could only go to certain sites to conduct inspections. They had to give early warning. They could stay for about an hour or two, and then they had to go. Well, what about these other sites? Because we're getting claims that there may be something going. Nope, that's not permitted. It's anywhere, anytime. We're coming to inspect. We decide the time. We decide the place. We go any place in this country to do that. Those old protocols, old rules cannot apply at all.
Well, they've got it. I mean, I hope they can nail down some language in the next 60 days or whenever. The IEA has got to come in, but the United States has to come in, doesn't it? Our experts, our troops, there has to be some, you got to have, we are going to be on the ground, and there has to be some white space created if we do put people on the ground, whether they're just civilian experts on atomic energy, nuclear energy, or whether they're accompanied by soldiers. All that stuff has to be worked out, and it's not going to be easy. I want to support this thing because I think Mr. Trump has done an amazing job, far better than anybody else in modern times. But, you know, it's going to be very difficult, sir. Somehow 60 days doesn't seem like it's going to be enough time to work all these things out.
Yeah, I totally agree. Listen, the IAEA is one thing. I think we have to be involved. I think we should also have some of our military involved in this, along with our civilians doing this. Why? Because we can't trust anybody out there. That's just the reality of it. And the UN umbrella and all the problems we have had in the past, no. Can they participate? Probably. To show good faith, let them participate. Well, we got to be on the ground ourselves, taking a look at this and feeding back into our system ourselves. That is essential. And listen, you're absolutely right. President Trump is the first president that's taken consequential action to stand up against these guys. And the idea that somehow this is comparable to the Obama JCPOA and what Obama did makes no sense whatsoever. Think of it. I mean, the Ayatollah is dead, and so is 40 of his thugs and leaders as a result of it. Their military capability is devastated. There was still more to be done, to be sure. Nobody's denying that. But ballistic missile program setback, drone inventory program setback, and certainly their nuclear program as well. Major capabilities in the industrial base to be able to recover their military capability significantly set back. And that is the reality of what we're facing here. And going into this, we're going to get, I'm assuming, a much better product to deal with in terms of a deal than what the JCPOA was all about, because it was a pathway to a nuclear weapon. I wish the politics around this would just stop, and let's just focus on what's in front of us diplomatically here, and let's put together the best thing we possibly can to hold Iran's feet to the fire here. We've got huge leverage over them going forward, and I'm confident we're going to exercise it.
Yes, 100%. People should back President Trump's effort here and cooperate with him and make it as good as it can be. This is a tremendous opportunity. Anyway, General Jack Keane, thank you, sir. As always, we appreciate your wisdom and your insight. Thanks so much.